Welcome back to the Rhonda Swan Show, Wake Up New York City edition here in Wall Street. And today I have got an absolutely special guest because he's not only transformed other people's lives, but he's transformed my life personally. In fact, just in the last 5 months alone, my whole body has shifted. And I'm gonna tell more about that. But I wanna introduce you to Ben Leap because he's not only the CEO and founder of 4BPM and the Leap application and platform, but he's redefining wellness through advanced diagnostics and personalized care, bringing science, performance, and longevity to help people reach their fullest potential and get their body back in alignment. All right, everyone, let's dive right into it and meet Ben Leap. All right, so Ben, welcome to the show here on Wall Street. It's so awesome to be here.
It's beautiful.
Well, I was just telling everyone that I have a really personal connection, not only to the work that you do, but really you supported me in transforming my life and what you do with 4BPM. I think we met in May.
Yes, May, yeah.
It was just in May, and literally I was like, okay, I'm 52, hormones are crazy, I don't know what to do with myself. And we did blood work and we got on the call together and boom, my hormones are now back in alignment. Let's talk about how we did all this magic. How did I lose 42 pounds? That's actually the biggest thing. Everyone's going, what happened to Rhonda?
Yeah, and you look phenomenal. So
thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
we're only going to go up from there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel healthier. I mean, I'm on peptides. I'm taking the hormone tablets, and literally, I feel like I'm back to myself. I think most women don't actually know that there is a way to not have to deal with this whole menopause, premenopause period, all those things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the challenge for most people is that they think aging is normal, but actually that's not the case. And the challenge with what we call our traditional allopathic physicians and disciplines is they're only looking to cure underlying medical conditions.
Yeah.
Whereas what we try to do, we're trying to optimize the body, and all we try to do is to replace the levels that you had, let's say, when you were younger. And you're going to feel a lot like you did back at that age.
Vitality, literally.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, but they just don't look at it that way.
Well, it's funny because my husband, Brian, he was like, you look exactly like you did when I met you 27 years ago.
That's amazing.
I'm like close to my game weight back then.
That's amazing. That'd be
And
incredible.
I'm 52 now.
And I love hearing that. That's amazing.
It really is. I mean, you guys have transformed so much about the way that we look at our health. So let's talk about what 4VPM is really about and what are some of the other initiatives that you guys are doing to help get everyone on track easily. Like we just met, we were on a Zoom call,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's only been a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we really focus on is really educating and empower people to take control of their health and wellness, but then to also be able to probably advocate for themselves when they have healthcare challenges as well.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I went through a healthcare issue about a year ago where I had diverticulitis. I ended up in the ER. They had to cut me open, cut out part of my colon. It was life-saving surgery.
Wow.
And do that process even for me. And again, I'm not your normal patient. I have 4 physicians in my family. I know more about the human body than I would say most people.
Yeah.
My fiance works for Optum, which is part of United Healthcare, the biggest health insurer in the world. So again, I'm not your normal patient. But I still couldn't probably advocate for myself, when I was in the hospital, which is insane. Because what they try to do is they're just trying to railroad you through the system as quickly as possible and suck as much of that insurance money as possible as well. So when I realized I couldn't, properly advocate for myself, I was like, what about everyone else?
Yeah.
And I was like, if you don't have the resources that I do, then you don't even have a fighting chance. So that's why I developed LEAP, which is what we call the Lab Education and Advocacy Platform. Because that platform, when we're done with it, will actually allow anybody in the world to upload lab results, and it'll actually populate educational videos, frequently asked questions, and protocols that will design a highly customized protocol for that individual and also the educational components based on their individual lab results.
Okay, so I've heard you before say that data is useless without translation, and I truly believe that because I remember when I got my blood work, I was like, I have no idea what to do with this, right? And of course, when we went through it, you're like, okay, these are the type of things that you need to look for, and these are the type of markers. But how does LEAP platform turn that complex information, the labs, the genetics, all that stuff into simple, actionable plans that people can actually, take a step with?
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously, when you go to your physician, and again, this is kind of a universal experience for most people, they're like, I don't feel well. So they order a battery test, they come back, and they're like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah,
But
that's what happened for me.
Yeah, like, what do you mean I'm fine? Like, I still feel like crap. They're like, no, you're fine. Because again, what most people don't realize is the reference range that laboratories use is 95% of the patient population. So if you think of who that patient population is, it's literally the US population, which about 40% of them are obese, and 45% of them have 2 or more chronic diseases.
Wow.
So do you really want to compare yourself to the unhealthy, that majority, or would you rather compare yourself to what is really optimal? I mean, obviously everyone's compares themselves to what's really optimal. So what we've done is we've really honed down on what's really optimal for each one of those biomarkers, but we also explain it in a way that makes it super easy for people to understand. Because again, what we're doing is we're taking really complex medical theory and terminology, and we associated something you've already experienced before, so we really make that connection super simple for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've described before that 4BPM is kind of like the building a bridge between medical world and the consumer.
Right.
So how is that working? Because I really wasn't in trust of most medical. When I first went to the doctor, they're like, "Oh, we're going to put this patch on you and this insulin," or no, it wasn't insulin, it was a estrogen patch or something. Let's just see how it works. We'll click it, we'll turn it, and you're like, "No. We're going to make this exactly what you need." Right? So how are you bridging that gap, though, for others to really see the holistic approach?
Yes, absolutely. So specifically with you, what we did, right, and what we do for our female patients, which I think is above and beyond what most other people do, is we get your lab results done. But the challenge with just lab results is you could have 2 women with the exact same hormonal profile. One will feel amazing, the other one feels like absolute crap.
Yeah.
So what really helps to inform us more is we have you fill out a symptom sheet.
Yeah.
So we have you rate your symptoms on a severity scale from 0 to 10, 0 not being an issue whatsoever, 5 being a moderate issue, 10 being a major issue. And we take that in conjunction with the labs, and then we work together with our master pharmacist, who's been doing this for over 30 years. And we together come up with a hormone replacement therapy protocol specifically designed for you and you alone.
Yeah.
And how we deliver it differently is we use rapid dissolve tablets, because there's other delivery systems out there like pellets. Not a fan of pellets.
Yeah.
Because we really see high testosterone levels on women.
Oh, it peaks too, right?
Crazy, because it goes very high in the very beginning, then it tails off for like 3-4 months. We see hair loss in women, body hair growth, facial hair growth, stuff that's not supposed to grow. No. So you see that all the time. And instead of using like topicals, because you don't know how much actually will absorb
or if
to
you
the
could
skin,
touch someone else, right?
or
Like
it goes on
so,
your, whatever you're wearing.
Exactly.
And then most women don't want to do injectables. So the rapid dissolve tablets are just easier. And not only that, we only do it for a 30-day cycle for the first time, because we want to see how you feel. Because again, we're pretty good at getting it right the first time, but again, not every woman's the same.
Yes.
So it really helps us to get that feedback. And if you tell us, hey, I'm still, not feeling great with, let's say, I'm still experiencing bloating, or my libido's still low, or whatever it is, then we dial it in the second month, and then we send you the new formulation.
Because I remember that. Exactly. I was like, actually, I feel great. You're like, well, there are any little things? I'm like, actually, I'm not sleeping the best. Right. I'm better, but I'm not sleeping the best. I lose a little dip in energy in the afternoons. You're like, okay, new stuff, new protocol. I was like, and it just is, I love being able to have that like customizable, like not one for all, like custom just for you. Because I think that's what a lot of, other medical companies, wellness companies, they just give you a supplement. They say, take all these supplements. And you're like, how in the heck is that going to connect just for me when everyone else is taking it generically? So what other kind of personalized protocols do you do that, others can, that others don't, that you guys do special?
So we really lean into genetics, because your genetics are your starting point. And everyone's starting point's a little bit different, with everything from cardiovascular health to brain function to detoxification, hormones, everything. So when we actually get that information, it really gives us even more data to actually be even more precise with how we actually approach that individual.
Yeah,
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. And I know that you've worked, let's say, across financial, pharmaceutical, health and tech. How has that actually multiple disciplinary background given you the edge in solving those type of disconnected problems between doctors, patients, and the above?
Well, I think being an entrepreneur my entire life, it's always been about how do we make things easier and how do we add more value. So it just makes it easy in the sense that with regards to how broken the current system is, right? Physicians aren't creating care plans. It's whatever the insurance companies will approve.
Right.
Which is obviously not what...
Doesn't it seem ridiculous that women hormone replacement therapy is not included in insurance?
Yeah,
it doesn't even make any sense.
Well, it would if you're completely out of the range. So you'd have to be so far off.
Right.
Yeah.
We just want to be well.
Right.
We just want to be healthy.
Right. So that's what makes a big difference.
Yeah. All right. So then how do you guys, how are you balancing like cutting edge science with accessibility to like an average patient? But
So what we always try to do is we are trying to add more accessibility because our slogan is wellness for all. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're able to deliver more value to more people. And that's what really LEAP was designed for. Because we know not everyone can afford, what we do. And unfortunately, insurance companies don't pay for what we do.
Yeah.
Because we're not curing underlying medical conditions, right? We're optimizing the body. And even Medicare, Medicaid, there's a specific paragraph that says, we will not pay for anything that prevents disease. Which is insane. Like, that makes no sense, right?
Right.
Yeah. If they did, they would actually save more money in the back end.
in the long run, but they like to keep us sick.
Of course. Yeah. And literally, if you think about how like the food industry is a funnel into the pharmaceutical industry, right? And they just want to keep us as an annuity that pays like through the rest of our lives because they don't want to cure us 100%. They want to keep us alive long enough, right?
Yep.
But still on the medications or the pharmaceuticals. So, we can just be an annuity for, all the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. I mean, I worked for a pharmaceutical company for 10 years.
So yeah, you're from
And I realized like all we're doing is just, we're the biggest drug dealers. We're hooking people.
Yeah.
And they're staying hooked and we keep going back, and then like, look at just diabetes alone, right? Like diabetes is reversible.
It is. Yeah.
It is reversible with food and activity, right? And now most of the population that gets diabetes are insulin resistant. They're not even aware. And I know that about myself, that when I was putting on all this weight on my hips I was insulin resistant.
Right.
Right? And all of a sudden you start to shift the way that your body is reacting. We started taking not only the hormones, started taking NAD, started really working, and I'm really focusing on the exercise, the food I was eating. Boom, like literally everything shifted overnight. You don't need you don't need any medication to do it.
No,
you just need to take care of the internal side of your body.
Yeah, exactly. And interesting you speak to insulin, and I don't know why this isn't just common knowledge for everyone. You cannot burn fat when you have high insulin levels or insulin-rich environment.
Right.
But if you think about what's available at a breakfast buffet anywhere in America, if you take out the eggs, bacon, sausage, omelet station, carving station, it's all carbs.
It's all carbs, which is all insulin pumper.
Exactly. And then the food industry brainwashes you eat every 2 hours afterwards. So most people are walking around with elevated insulin
and they're just
and blood sugar, and then they wonder why there's an obesity epidemic in the US.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, well, I absolutely love what you do at 4VPM. Literally, you have changed my life, and I thank you for that. I truly can say that with all conviction. Like, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I can usually bite through everything, and I'm like, all right, sister, you need to surrender.
Yeah.
You need to call Ben and get this thing done. And that's what we did. And so where can everyone find you? How do they get a hold of you? I know I have a huge audience that's like having the exact same, situation that I've been through.
Yeah. So our website is 4VPM, like beatforminute.com. And then we're launching our LEAP website, which is whatisleap.com as well.
Awesome. 4VPM.com and LEAP.
Yeah, whatisleap.com.
Whatisleap.com.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ben, for all that you do,
so
for the work that you do for not only women, but men, but also keeping us healthy, because that's what we're living for, is for longevity and living longer. And there you go, guys. Go look at what they're up to. Like, literally, I am a standing representation, a testimonial to what Ben does at 4VPM. And, it's time. Let's get healthy. Let's be part of it, and let's shift the world, because we are healthier, our minds are healthy, and our bodies are healthier too.
Absolutely.
Thanks again, Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Pleasure. Awesome. All right, guys. Look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.